Video surfaced over the weekend that appears to show a 15-year-old Palestinian American from Florida being severely beaten by two police officers in Israel. Here he was talking to reporters.
I was standing and watching. I was watching the group of people. I was watching the group of people, and they came from the side of me, and they grabbed me from the side of me.
Tariq Abu Khadir was attacked by the Israeli officers during a street battle in East Jerusalem. The clash was tied to a string of violence following the abduction of Khadir's cousin, Mohammed Abu Khadir. Mohammed was reportedly burned alive in a revenge killing after the murders of 3 Israeli students. 6 people were arrested in connection with the killing. Tariq was beaten before attending his cousin's funeral. Joining us now with the latest on his condition is the family lawyer, Hassan Shibli. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Have these police officers given any explanation for what has happened?
Absolutely not. They've provided absolutely no justification. And frankly, there is no justification. How can you justify brutally beating, stomping on, kicking, punching an innocent young child, 15 years old, whose hands have been restrained, who's in custody? Even after he's unconscious, they continue to beat him and kick him in the head. I mean, they really use deadly force against him. So I don't think there is justification for it. And we're really calling on the U.S. government to pressure the Israelis to do everything within their power to bring those officers to justice and to really radically change Israel's policies that seem to lead to these sorts of situations where all too often Palestinians are ruthlessly abused by these Israeli officers and the military. In fact, Tariq right now still has young cousins, even younger than him, who've had their arms and their legs broken and faced very severe injuries, and they're still locked up because they're not American, so the world is silent at their mistreatment.
Well, the State Department released a statement on Khadir's detention. They said, "We are profoundly troubled by reports that he was severely beaten while in police custody and strongly condemn any excessive use of force. We are calling for a speedy, transparent, and credible investigation and full accountability for any excessive use of force." Hassan, do you trust that they'll make the right steps to see through a proper investigation?
I mean, we'll have to see it to believe it, really. At this point, Palestinians are still facing collective punishment, often at the hand of the Israeli government. We need to see concrete action. For me, I'm sort of shocked to see that young Tariq Khadir, our neighbor from Tampa here, right now is in house arrest. He can't even return to America to get the proper medical treatment he needs. And the officers who brutally beat him are still presumably on duty. They've not been arrested. They've not been charged with anything. So it's sort of outrageous to see the victim, who hasn't even faced any charges, face house arrest, but the officers who beat him appear to go free at this time.
I don't mean to be redundant here, but I just need clarity on this. So he hasn't been charged with anything. He's been beaten. He's in police custody, he's on house arrest, and no formal charges have been filed.
That's correct.
Wow. And no explanation on why he's being held, even informally. Wow. This is devastating for all of us. Tariq's mother has spoken about this to the BBC News. Let's take a look at what she said.
He doesn't deserve to be on house arrest out of his own home for 9 days and have a bail. On what charges? He hasn't been charged. There's no charge on him. Why are you putting him on house arrest? Makes no sense.
I can only imagine what's going through the family's mind right now. What are they saying? What are they feeling?
I mean, obviously, the family's very distraught. They're very relieved to have him back home. I think they're all very exhausted. We haven't slept in 3 days. They haven't slept in 3 days. I know I haven't. We've been up 24/7 trying to secure his release. And then after he was released, now trying to get him back to the States as soon as possible, trying to get this needless house arrest going on. But they're very grateful, actually. They're very grateful to the world public, to the global media, international media, that really, I think, was instrumental in helping secure at least his release from Israeli custody in prison. Because, frankly, nothing was happening. The State Department had not met with the family. The State Department had not met with Tariq. The Israelis weren't doing anything about his detention or giving him proper medical treatment until we stepped up, issued the press release calling for his demand, and then they were flooded with thousands of inquiries from the media. So I think this global attention really helped secure his release, and the family's very grateful for the public's attention on that, while at the same time concerned that so many other of his cousins and relatives are currently locked up, and they may not be released just because they're not American, and therefore there's not as much global outcry about their mistreatment.
Absolutely. Well, we'll continue to keep the pressure and attention on this issue here at HuffPost Live. Hassan, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thank you.